Hi, welcome to the big show. Yes, we're here to discuss all the big stories that have gone on. The week in tech. Anything that you might want. We've had a story Bagsy though, so we're going to have to start with Mr. Harkness, and he's had a bad day, so we're definitely going to start with Mr. Harkness because we don't want him turning green and popping a few shirt buttons.
I don't have any shirt buttons.
Oh, I don't know. I think that sounds kind of cool.
You sounded like you were mad enough that even the shirt buttons would have materialised, mate. How you been?
I'm all right. Yeah. A rubbish day at work, but other than that, I'm fine.
I know full well that you probably can't go into what the rubbish day was about, but you have our sympathies, mate.
Thank you.
Is there any descriptions that you can give that would just be hilarious?
In the Vegas sense, dealing with other people's crap and managing people's expectations.
Okay, that's sufficiently vague. Well done, mate.
Yeah.
You stood it well. What you been?
I would say a standard day in the office.
I've probably just described about half the world's day at the office, didn't I, just then?
Yeah, but
Pretty much.
it's one of those days where you get to the end and you think, I may be an NHS doctor, but actually euthanasia's a possibility.
What, for me?
No, for them. Are your legs working?
Say yes. Doesn't matter. Just say yes.
Just give me the thinnest of excuses. Where you been, mate? We haven't seen you for weeks.
I know. I'm sorry, dude.
No, that's all right.
Just work stuff. There's a lot. I'm approaching that time of year where I have to prove that I'm not trying to kill everyone that I see. So I'm working hard towards that.
That's the kind of test I like for NHS doctors, mate.
Yeah.
Wait, you're not?
It's the goal benchmark.
But have you passed yet or not?
Oh, I get through it every year without any problems, obviously. But
I would hope so.
Like any self-respecting person, I'm also terrified of not passing it. So, no, it's later on this month. But I've still got a bit of work to do, but I'm much closer to it now because I've really dug in and worked hard. So.
I nearly sent your colleagues a customer a few weeks ago. I went to a job and they said, you've got to do an induction. Oh, okay, that's fair enough. I've been inductions, that's no problem. There's a 15-question questionnaire. All right, okay. So there's no pre-learn or anything? No, we're not. No. You're going to watch a film. The film lasted 3 minutes and then they're going to ask me 15 questions. And if I get one wrong, I'm not allowed on site that day to work.
Sheesh.
That's stupid.
So hang on. So this is not the best bit. The best bit was I sat down, I watched the thing. I mean, I'm dyslexic and I suffer with ADD. So, this is big for me. And I get to the end and I get the questionnaire and I sit and go through the questionnaire. And it's not multiple guess. It's write the answer out. So I have to sit and write it all out. I get to the end and hand it to the bloke. And he says, right, okay, if you could just come and get pictures taken. I'm like, I want to find out if I've passed. He went, no, don't worry about it. You bastard.
Seriously? Oh my God.
So the test was, would you do the test?
Yes.
How old are you, mate? Do you honestly think you're going to make it to next year?
Oh my God.
Oh, my arse was going like I'd had a curry from hell.
Oh God, I've done many tests and exams over the years, as you can imagine. But
yeah, I would hope so.
I would hate to do them again now. I really would hate to do them again now.
I want to be a medical practitioner. I've got 3 tokens from the Rice Krispies. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Look, I have absolutely no medical training, and I have an IV and needles sitting in the house. And
yeah, but it's legal in Denver.
Well, there are some places in the world that I'm sure instead of Rice Krispie tokens, if you said $50,000. That might get you somewhere towards your medical degree, certainly. So,
where did you get it? University of Buenos Aires.
the views were amazing.
Distance learning.
Yeah.
I got a distance learning medical degree. That's got to get your ass clenching.
Certainly your neighbor's ass is clenching when you show up and say, hey, I want to try something.
Oh, mate,
I want to try something. Yeah.
Richard knows this story, but I mean, last year when I had pneumonia, the consultant that I had, she was unbelievable. And it was just, when's the last time you passed? I think it was the day before yesterday, the day I was admitted. Okay, give him laxative. And she gives me the strongest laxative they've got. The nurse comes up and says, "This is the strongest laxative we've got. Are you sure you want to take this?" And I'm like, "Look, I'll get up in a minute and I'll be fine. It'll be all right. Everything will start moving again." It was just like, I pissed her off a little bit as well, so maybe it was a bit of punishment, but there's some good ones, there's some bad ones. I'm glad that you're a good one, Rich.
Cheers, mate.
In a new property, new backdrop.
Mm-hmm. And it'll look even better once I finish getting moved in.
So what, is all your stuff still under the park bench where you slept in between?
Well, yeah.
Oh, right, okay. You got to go back and get it later.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not much. Or it's a big park bench. I'm not sure.
Was it just like the end of the lease?
A big shopping cart.
Change, or?
No, it's in the middle of my lease. And what happened was one of the other units that's just a couple doors down from me, that's a 2-bedroom unit, came open. And so I talked to the property management company, and they're like, "Yeah, we can figure out how to juggle this so that we move you from one lease into the new lease." And one of the other tenants ended up taking my space because it was bigger than what they had. So I literally moved just around the corner. Oh, almost sneezed on you. I moved just around the corner.
Almost said Gesundheit as well.
We were both so close.
That's a phrase. But are you happy with the move, though? It's not like you feel like you've been put on.
No, it's great. The move itself was really hard because there was only me and Angela and one other friend that was there for a little while, trying to move all my stuff just around the corner in one day. And so
that's not good.
No, but got it done, and I'm in, and I just need to finish getting everything set where it goes, and this place is going to be awesome.
Excellent, mate. Good. Glad you're happy. And for the second time on BTN today, with very striking lighting, I have to say, mate.
Yeah, the light situation is not that good, I would say. I have new lights in here, the office, but I opted for the lower wattage, and it didn't turn out the way I wanted it, so... I'm going to get new ones tomorrow.
Now, have you moved as well? Because you used to have a door behind you.
No, I simply switched around the room. It's the same room. It's just on the opposite side. So the desk was actually, the standing desk was actually behind me.
My OCD is absolutely through the roof at the moment, mate.
Yeah, I know.
The gamut's moved. You've turned the other way round. Richard's not happy, which he normally is. This show's got disaster written all over it.
Yeah,
why have you got the American flag behind you?
I always have had that.
He has. I've vouched for the fact he's always had that on. Well, it's not always been on the shot, but it's been in the room. I know that much.
Yeah.
But I have to ask, why have you got it?
Still not answer yet. Answer the question.
Simply because I'm a big fan of the US, and I needed something for a decoration, so I opted for a flag.
Good enough answer.
I actually have two. I have another one in my living room.
Congratulations, you've passed the test.
Is that what they asked you when you did your doctor test as well?
Which flag is this?
Yeah, excellent. Good answer. Good answer.
Right answer, you passed.
Out.
I just want to say as well, a big shout out to my new neighbour here at BTN HQ, Lee. Lee lives to the this side of the show desk, and me and Jake went out for a curry after with the family between the Mac show and this show, and we came back and all we can hear is shoo 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 shoo. Oh crap! Here we go. Because before there was a couple in there that the worst you could do is open the window and you could hear them shagging sometimes, and basically when you saw them you're kind of like no. You two should not be allowed to have sex with each other. So we had the shubs, and I thought, oh, here we go, first bit of conflict. He's a new neighbour. Oh, here we go. Gone round. Lee's a charming fellow. I knocked on the door. He went, "Is it a bit loud?" Dude, you're in. Spot on, mate. Thank you. So big shout out to Lee, even though he doesn't watch this crap. The Week in Tech, all the big stuff that's gone on. What have you got for us? I've got to start with Dr. H because he's bagsied SpaceX.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get bigger than this in terms of, well, much really, does it? Apparently, we're going back round the moon again. So this is exciting stuff. We haven't done this. Nobody's been outside of low Earth orbit since 1972. So I'm very excited. As somebody who's a keen space enthusiast, I'm very excited about this. So it's SpaceX that's going to do it. What's his name? Oh, God.
Elon Musk.
Thank you, Elon Musk. His company.
Good to see you researched the story, mate.
Yeah, I did. I'm reading it right now.
I'm being careful not to piss you off because I know you're in a bad mood, but...
So they're going to go in a capsule, like sort of capsule type thing once they get up there, and it looks like it's going to be quite comfortable compared to what previous astronauts have had to be exposed to. Mm-hmm. They're just going to. Here's the bit that terrifies me a little bit. They're going on autopilot.
So no one on the ship can fly the boat.
So if your sphincter is not twitching at that thought, then I don't know what would make it.
Why?
So, what's that?
Why? I mean, when you're flying, 13? For the most part, you're an autopilot.
Haven't you watched Apollo 13?
I have.
If anything goes wrong up there and you don't know what the hell you're doing, you're in deep crap. Well, you're dead, basically.
You're dead.
So, the thought that they're going up there, they probably won't know how to do anything if anything goes wrong, and they're along
getting
for the
some
ride.
training.
You know what's going to happen, don't you?
What's that?
So, previously on this mission, Houston, we have a problem. But actually what there'll be a computer on board, and you've got to log into your PayPal account and raise a resolution dispute thing with the vendor.
You have to launch a Kickstarter for it.
You get a pull down, and it goes. You look at all the options available. My item did not arrive. No, that's not it. My body exploded at the speed of light through in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Where's that when you need it? On the PayPal pull down for
and then the
resolution
worst
dispute.
part is you got to click submit, and you just swing around the dark side of the moon, so you can't actually.
You got no. Yeah, there you go.
Connection.
Oh, I'm sorry, connection unavailable. Elon, you bastard.
Oh, can you imagine that phone call? That'd be quite funny, wouldn't it? So I think this is very, very exciting. I mean, the cool thing there is, apart from anything, hopefully they're going to be carrying a hell of a lot more good quality equipment to take images and stuff like that. So that'll be cool. But you get the feeling it could be a bit of a make or break thing. This, if it goes well, then it could be the start of further sort of space tourism. But if they die up there, that might put a bit of a dampener on it for quite some time.
Yeah, but I mean, for SpaceX, it actually makes sense. I mean, I know that Elon Musk said he wants to go to the moon even before NASA will do it. So going to he wants to go to Mars. Sorry. So going to the moon is, I mean, that's relatively close by in quote unquote easy. So it's a good test to work out the kinks and then go to Mars, because that will be like I think 6-month trip or something.
Yeah, not only is it a smart move because it does let them test all this hardware before a Mars mission, but he's a smart enough businessman. He figured out how to get other people to pay for it. So this isn't going to really cost SpaceX much money to do this test.
$250,000.
Is that how much they've paid?
That's all it costs. It only costs $250,000 to do this trip. That's the figures that were being bandied around the other day when it was launched.
And and these two people, the mystery people that are going on the flight, they're paying for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't see that $500,000 gets you to the moon and back.
Well, it only needs to get you around the moon.
Oh, so
and back.
It's
not like you have to land.
I'm going to say no. So it's like when you get free return trajectory, it's actually free.
Yeah.
Yeah, you only pay for the outward
landing on the
journey.
moon. That would be a lot more expensive.
There's a bit there's a bit in the fine print that says vehicle's occupants will be responsible for getting themselves back out of orbit once returned to Earth.
Yeah, maybe going from Earth around the moon and back to Earth orbit is $250,000. But
22 million to come out of orbit.
Yeah, but then you have to pay again for them to safely deorbit and land you.
In that purchase of $1 million.
Right. And now you're scrambling through your spacesuit pockets. Where's my visa?
I've got to say, I'm going to wait till Bezos does it, because at least I'll get a free year of Amazon Prime then.
Yeah, you will.
The other thing is, I mean, the pictures that are on this, it says SpaceX and it's Dragon. And Dragon is the resupply ship that feeds the space station, isn't it? So effectively, you're going up in a converted container.
Well, you're going up in a container that's currently converted for cargo.
Exactly.
Because the original design is for pressurized transport, so it's for humans.
Oh, that's okay then.
Yeah. So they took that design and modified it for cargo so they could do tests on the capsule. And actually NASA's footing the bill for that because of resupply.
Do you think you're going to have to go through a scanner and take all of your fluids out and stuff like that and hand them and drop them before you leave?
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. Do they have a metal detector you go through? Make sure you're not taking any weapons or knitting needles into space?
Exactly, that's it. Sorry, mate, plastic knives only.
Intergalactic war.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be like, what's the film? First Contact, where they first do warp speed and the aliens come to meet her.
Oh yeah, Star Trek.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, we're not looking for warp speed as being the defining first contact requirement. It's actually sending two people that have paid for it.
Yeah. You have completely commercialized.
You commercialize space. Welcome.
Exactly. So that's the first step. Alien contact will come once you've turned it into a business.
We'll be welcomed with open arms by space capitalists.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, so what's the menu going to be? Because they're going to send you it with piles of dried shit, aren't they? That's the trouble. It's like if you're.
No, there's.
I'm on the opposite side of the moon, and I've got an absolutely great-yeared orange juice in my hands in a plastic sachet with a straw to make sure that none of the bubbles float out. You know, are they going to do a dried Dom Perignon meal or something like that?
No, it's like with, I mean, if you fly Ryanair, you get nothing. You have to pay for it a shitload of money, and you get, the crappiest food you can imagine.
So what you're saying is stop at one of the restaurants in the airport before you get on the SpaceX flight and load up on sandwiches.
Correct. Exactly that.
It lands somewhere in New Mexico and you've got to get a taxi back to the spaceport.
Yeah. So be sure to pack something for the ride back to the spaceport once you land.
We're being really unfair, aren't we?
Yes, we are, because we don't get to go.
Yeah. We're not at all bitter.
No. I mean, so you're not old enough to be a child of Apollo, though, Richard?
No.
You bastard! You've just sat there and gone, "What's Apollo?" in my mind.
No. I was
Yeah, I just had a big sad thinking about that.
Well, me and Jeff are the only people that remember the capsule and the little bloke in the white suit.
I've seen it.
I remember sitting watching moon landings, and my mom gave me a little notepad and a pencil, and I would sit there and draw the spaceships that you could see because they had cameras set up. And to me, it was the most normal thing in the world that you would fly a ship to the moon, and it would have a little dune buggy in it that you'd pull out and drive around. That's just what people did.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to say, Batwinch has gone to the top of my list of people to send a Christmas card to, because she says, "You're not much older than me, are you?" You sweetie. So, I mean, I remember, because after the Apollo stuff, there was absolutely sod all until the space shuttle. And the space shuttle was when I was 14.
Yeah.
Because that was the year my grandma died, 1981. And she bought me a birthday present just before she died, which was a model of an Airfix model of the space shuttle, which is still actually in my parents' loft. I treasure it.
I had
still.
one of those models too.
Yeah, and Crippen and Young went up there. And
Yep.
it was an awesome time. I have to remember that. That was really, really cool. But there was sod all between 1975 and then.
Well, it's nice. It's nice that we're getting back out there again. I think in a way, because it was awful. My heart sank when they sort of retired the space shuttle, because you just thought, oh my God, when are we ever going to go back up there again? You know. And
it was kind of a similar time to Concorde, wasn't it? So I mean, the last time you were on, Richard, you were talking about supersonic travel, and I think one of the saddest parts of human existence at the moment is the fact that we don't travel beyond the speed of sound, and we haven't left the planet to stand on another surface. That's really, really appalling, I think, probably.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, didn't NASA scrap the whole moon base program? I think they had one at some point, right?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Yeah, the moon
like
base program
TV,
was the next phase of Apollo. Well, I mean, that's what Apollo was going to lead to, so it would have had a different name. Mm-hmm. And that got scrapped. They also, back during the Apollo missions, had the technology, believe it or not, to go to Mars. And there was talk about doing that too. But the budgets were totally killed. And we didn't even get the last Apollo missions, which is how we ended up with Skylab, because they took parts of the Apollo rockets and made a space station out of them.
Mm-hmm. You overspent on carpet bombing Vietnam. That was your real problem.
Yeah,
That's where the budget went.
Sadly,
well, there was. I think there was also plans at one point, because I remember many years ago being watching a talk where this guy was showing these sort of lunar modules that were kind of almost like instant assembly things that like inflated and then locked together. Mm-hmm. And I think for a while there was the idea bandied about that they would go to the moon to sort of practice the whole living modules for Mars and things like that, as a way of testing it out. So
yeah, the idea was you take those HAB modules, inflate them, and then you push lunar soil up on them so that you have a radiation barrier.
Yeah.
I was listening to a thing a few weeks ago, and one of the guys was saying, we've discovered 5% of the sea's. I want to say surface, but that's the wrong word. What am I talking about? Bed. We've mapped 5% of the seabed on the planet Earth. And there's 95% still unmapped. The furthest.
No way.
The furthest that we've gone down is 10 kilometres. And there may still be pieces of the Earth's crust that are below 10,000 kilometres. The pressure that you have to deal with at that level is the equivalent of a human being supporting the weight of 52 jumbo jets on their head.
Wow.
So what you're saying is it's easier for us to go to Mars than to study
your protection barrier at the depths of planet Earth in the sea have to withstand the pressure of 52 jumbo jets balanced on the top of your head. Imagine that. Mm-hmm. The pressure that you have to deal with at the moon's surface is 1 atmosphere.
No, it's less than 1 atmosphere.
Because what you're doing is you're pushing outwards. So actually, you've only got to retain the atmosphere that you generate for yourself to breathe. So it's 1 atmosphere for the bubble. That's it. Effectively, it wouldn't be a really good idea, don't get me wrong, but you could protect 1 atmosphere with something that's probably no more than 10 times the thickness of a balloon.
Mm-hmm. The aluminum shell on the lunar lander module was so thin that the astronauts had to be careful not to push into it because they could break it open.
Yeah.
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 Which is just terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't touch anything.
It's like making a spaceship out of soda pop cans.
I mean, I mean, I know it's not science, but you look at the Martian film, and they're talking about launching them off the surface of Mars, and they're saying, well, take the cone off. Why? Because that's there to stop about wind resistance, but there isn't enough wind resistance. By the time he gets fast enough for it to be a problem, he's already out of what little atmosphere there is there on Mars anyway. And when they start shedding stuff and they start talking about actually, the have that blows out, it doesn't. He repairs it with duct tape because it's not retaining that much of an atmosphere. It's only one bar, so it's extremely easy. And that's the realisation, the fact that the hard part we've got in space travel is getting out of the atmosphere. I bet you if you look at the 250,000 these two people are playing, probably 245,000 of that is fuel to get out of the atmosphere.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, once you have left the atmosphere, there is not. I mean, you really don't need much energy.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
A couple of little blasts and that'll carry you for a very, very long way.
And the bastards still won't let me drink. Can you imagine? Can you imagine though? I mean, it's like you have a whiskey on top of Everest, and because of the thinness of the atmosphere, it's like you've drunk the entire bottle. What's it going to be like in this thing with artificial gravity or artificial atmosphere, 0 G?
I'd be curious to see if we ultimately if we get any technological advances down here as a result of them doing this. You know how we got a lot of technology based off the space program originally. I wonder if we'll get anything back off this. That's my hope.
Well,
anyway.
I'm relatively certain that this will happen. I mean, one way or the other. I mean, we will learn more about our solar system and space in general once we really go to Mars, and that will have an impact on our understanding of the Earth and the impact of a lot of things on the Earth, and that will translate into technology. So if it's not directly through what we build to get there, then it will be indirectly this way. So I'm pretty sure about that. I've recently, there was, I think, might have been on Liftoff, one of the, I think it's Relay FM podcasts, where they talked about the challenge, where they had an interview, I think, with someone from JPL, and they talked about the challenges that they see in going to Mars, the things that they haven't figured out yet and that they're trying to figure out. And I think from that alone, we will have a lot of things we learn. Things like, how do we do 3D printing, for example, on a bigger scale, and things like that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting as well what kind of production elements we get outside of our own atmosphere what that would do to it. So in terms of like sealing of glues or resins or that kind of stuff, whether you get better seals in vacuums and you can do that in space and then re-import it, or whether you can build easily. If you send up infrastructure, you can actually build far easier on the moon because of the zero gravity and that kind of stuff. That would make a massive difference.
Yeah.
Back when she's making a great point, and jump in any time, Doctor. Wouldn't it be important for a low carbohydrate diet on that trip?
Yeah, you want a low residue diet, definitely.
Yeah. No, so it's like, you look at that picture there, and there's 3 windows, and that looks like the space capsule for Apollo, and you're kind of like, where's the shitter?
Yeah. She actually made another good point. India has a moon program, so SpaceX is not the only one.
No, India, because now India wasn't India that sent pictures back of the footprints from the Apollo landing sites to prove that it really did happen. And all conspiracy theories are really talking out of their arses.
Yeah, exactly. But they want to send people to the moon.
Images back too.
Yeah.
Did any of you ever used to watch that Indian comedy show, Goodness Gracious Me?
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. Do you remember the catchphrase that they used to say, Ewan? All you need is a small aubergine. I was just thinking of the Indian grandmothers talking about going to the moon,
So, cards on the table, fellas. $250,000 is not an object to you. Are you going?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Is your wife going to let you go?
No.
Absolutely not. Well, girl.
I have no wife.
My wife was pissed off I went for a test drive in a Renault Zoe the other week without her.
Ah,
She's not going to let me go to the frigging moon.
Awesome.
Hello, Bronwyn. The thing was that really pissed her off, I think more than anything, was that Joe, who cleans the apartment, I said, I'm going for a test drive. She said, oh, can I come? I'm like, yeah, cool.
Oh, Ewan.
So not only did I not take my wife, I took another woman.
oh,
Oh, fail. Total fail.
that is harsh.
Do you still get to go home?
Did you just swear, Patrice? Do I need to bleep that? 31 minutes?
No, I said harsh.
Harsh. Good man, good man, good
Yeah.
man. Yeah, no, it's not gone down well. The Renault Zoe's pretty good, though, I have to say. I've got the Hyundai Iconic on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so and Sharon's coming on that one, so
Nice.
I might get some brownie points back. Good story, Rich. I would rather we forego space tourism for a science base on another world.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think I'd rather we spent the money on a space elevator so that we didn't have to worry about the amounts of hydrogen that we're burning that we're never going to get back to get ourselves out of the atmosphere. Because at the moment, there's a set amount of hydrogen, isn't there? That is it. Is it hydrogen? Helium? No, it's helium. It's a set amount. I'm talking out my arse. There we go. Not strange. But it just bothers me the amount of fuels that we're using to get out of the atmosphere rather than
there's actually a lot of oxygen.
Better way to get out of the atmosphere. That's where I prefer the research to go. And there's a good thing there's a good analogy as well from Chris Hadfield where he's talking about the fact, he says we're sailing up and down the shoreline waiting to go on a voyage. At the moment.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm kind of like, yeah, okay, I get that, Chris, but we went on a voyage 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Why are we?
And then we stopped.
Then we stopped. Why? No one died. It wasn't horrific. We actually, we got the technology. We proved the technology. No one died.
Yeah.
No one died on the Apollo missions apart from Apollo 1, which was a ground-based test. We threw people to another planet, hurled ourselves into the void, and it all came back just fine. And 13 wasn't the most smoothest thing that ever happened, but there was a lot of science done in that, and it was kind of like it wasn't lost; it was just left. That's my problem with it. So,
actually, on the space shuttle missions, the mortality rate was pretty high. I mean, you wouldn't think it was, but because there were so few trips, it was actually, I think, 25% or something. So that's a lot.
I don't think it's higher.
It's higher than you would expect.
What is?
I know compared to all the other space program fatalities, the space shuttle program topped them, but I don't think we're talking 25%.
No, it was actually pretty high. I think it was 25%. I mean, it's fairly easy to calculate. Simply take the number of trips and the number of fatalities.
Oh, if you're doing trips versus fatalities, then you're a completely different number than if you're doing personnel versus trips. So so there was 135, something like that, 136 missions on space shuttle alone. And 14 personnel were lost, but there was only 2 events.
Yeah, that would be 10%.
That's.
You've got to. I would totally agree with you about the science side of it. Even what I hope is that if people start doing it, then it might spark more public interest, which might make governments more willing to risk spending other people's money on it and things like that. That's what happened with NASA, wasn't it? Basically, the governments got twitched about how much money NASA was costing them, and that the public weren't really behind it. And it's all about flaming votes at the end of the day, rather than what's best for mankind in the long run. And we was too busy nasal gaving. You know what I mean.
That was
enough.
Nasal gaving.
That's the one.
And I mean, ever since the whole discussion about going to Mars started, I think the public support has been probably as high as ever. So I think that's also a good thing.
We could do without the government needing budget to get us out of frigging Europe and the 400 people that are doing that on a daily basis and costing us £4 million a year. And about what Bronwyn's put in the chat room, is there a room full of gassy cows for space fuel? I think that to me, that strikes me as kind of like an infinite monkey cage, but less productive.
That would actually be a horrible idea, because the amount of food you would need for that would be crazy.
Eventually, if you leave a group of cows in a room, they'll manage to fart the tunes of Mozart.
Eventually, yes.
Not that they would appreciate what they've accomplished.
If you have an infinite number of cows.
If you have an infinite number of cows in an infinite-sized room with an infinite amount of food and methane, eventually they'll fart the combined works of Mozart.
Yeah.
We really do cover all the important matters here on this show, don't we?
I mean, I see myself as being here as ballast for you guys. you guys provide the topics. I stop us from getting too knowledgeable.
I appreciate that, Ewan.
And the amount of knowledge is directly inversely proportional to the amount of Guinness included in the podcast. There we go. Yeah, I've just had my theory confirmed to the left of me. Who's got the next story?
I'm gonna go. I think I already put it in the chat room.
Oh, Jeffrey beat you, mate. Jeffrey beat you.
Go ahead.
Jeffrey's fast fingers and his intravenous. What's in that intravenous bag, Jeffrey?
If I told you everything, where would the mystery be in our relationship?
It's legal in Denver, though.
That's what they say. Yeah. All right.
Jeffrey, mate, you never cease to disappoint.
Yeah.
You never disappoint. You never cease to amaze. There's the word I'm looking for.
There we go.
I'm lost for words based on your choice of story today. But go ahead.
So the story that I found gives me one big question, which is, are we men enough to actually have our sexual prowess analyzed scientifically? And if so, there's a condom waiting for us. And this company's designed a smart condom that will measure fluid output. It will measure thrust activity, so you can keep track of how many thrusts you actually make and the force behind them.
So it's binary then.
For most guys, yeah, and it will calculate the calories you're burning during sex, and all you have to do is put this on and go to town. And when I saw this, my first thought was, oh, it's a joke. And then I realized, no, it's not. And so I started wondering, for most guys, is this actually a good idea? Do you really want to know how you're performing? Like, seriously, really want to know on that level? So does this go too far?
I think it does.
Well, what's it going to change?
It's a British invention, fellas. Look at the picture.
Yeah, it's a British.
It's a British invention. I think it's the best since farting cows in a room.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
So Jeffrey, you're saying would you take part in this study?
Sure, I would.
But you're not married.
Now, but I haven't seen any results from that, and I don't know what it would say about my performance. So it's easy for me to say, sure, I would be willing to try this out. After I see the results, well, then we'd know if I still feel the same.
Bronwyn's saying, Jeffrey, please test this out. I don't think she's volunteering. But she says, I'm curious to see how your wife likes it. But you're not married.
No, I have a girlfriend.
Right, so that means you have way more sex than me and Richard for a start.
All right. Well, okay. Then I'm willing to try this out for science.
Okay.
For science. On Mars?
I don't know if I can get Angela to go to Mars. she's not excited about the possibility of me ever going in orbit. Because I've told her, look, if the opportunity comes up and it's like a real opportunity and I can get into orbit, man, I'm going. And she's not hip on that idea.
Is this like a
I guess I've got it. What we can do is go to the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, because they have a Mars surface diorama
set up. Isn't that public indecency?
After hours.
Oh, right, got you. So you know the night guard. It's like a night at the museum type thing, but with a completely different slant.
With a completely different storyline. And I know people at the museum. So
Teddy Roosevelt's got a real surprise coming.
Boy, howdy.
You could both wear an HTC Vive.
Yeah, that's an option too.
Okay.
You've got that option. The thing that gets me about this, just thinking from a science point of view, is who are these people to claim to know what exactly rates as good sexual performance for a start? So surely there's no such thing as the correct number of thrusts or the correct speed of your thrusts.
As opposed to the bell end, is that not the bell curve? Is it not about statistical data, therefore?
Frequency and all the rest of it. The person who could tell you how good your sexual performance is your partner, and that's the end of it. Excuse the pun.
The big value I see in this for most people. I see two value points in this. The first one for the average person is that this can detect sexually transmitted diseases. So I guess you get like a red alert. You dip in and bam, 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 pull out. So that one's not safe. But the other place where I could see this as useful is if you are having some sort of medical issue where you need to be collecting data, like maybe you're having fertility problems, and the data that this smart condom collects might be useful for that.
See, that's interesting that you say that, because I had it in my head as a bit more like a Withing scale that linked to your Twitter account and just shamed you constantly.
You just get little notifications coming down on your phone. You still haven't done it.
Pull out.
It could be like Instagram, where I get the notice. It tells me someone just posted for the first time in a long time. It sent out a notice. Jeff just had sex for the first time in a really long time.
No, what bothers me is the thing is, it's like this thing. The application on your iPhone goes, is it okay to send notifications? And then the first time you use it, you get a notification when you're midway through going, not yet. Yeah.
I just get like a little thumbs down on your Apple Watch.
Yes.
No.
So you do it, and the application sends a tweet to your partner, who then gets to rate it.
Oh.
Yeah, you better make sure that you've got your condom paired to the right account.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Satisfied all my needs.
You could have some really difficult explaining to do.
Yeah, the only thing you got to worry about is whether it actually starts the time before you start and finish. Does it do it milliseconds?
Well,
it's got to be one of the stupidest things I've ever heard.
No, okay. So joking aside, if this says it measures proteins, antigen proteins or something. Mm-hmm. That was that I read. It includes your average velocity, total number, and then it says antibodies filter, which alerts the user when proteins or antigens are present, which could help with detection of STIs. But that's why you're wearing a condom in the first place anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly.
This story's kind of a letdown after flying to the moon.
I don't think so.
These are complimentary aboard Dragon.
I would think so.
Dragon SpaceX. Yeah.
I wonder in all seriousness whether it's got any value for people who who genuinely do proper research in terms of sex and sexuality and things like that, whether it could be useful for those in a research purpose. It might allow them to gather a lot of data that way. But for an individual to buy one, no.
Have you seen Masters of Sex and who's the guy that did Kinsey?
Patrice, you were way too quick to say yes there.
It was a bit, that was a bit sharp, yeah. But
every day I watch it.
Liam Neeson was in the Kinsey report, wasn't he, with Laura Linney? And old Martin Sheen did with I can't remember her name. He did Masters of Sex, and those were like the big sex studies that were conducted in America. And I'm just wondering, do those still take place? Is there anything to learn beyond what they learnt, or is it such a rudimentary process that we don't know any more about it? And is this going to give us... is this the next thrust forwards? Excusing the pun. You know, it's just... No, because up until this point, you know, there's been the observable chemistry of sex, but this might give you something which is... you know, an entomology which is completely different.
You know, I'm sure you can collect new information that we haven't had before. I know that that research has been done where people are having sex like in an MRI machine, and you know, so you can learn a lot more about the mechanics. And research has been done where people have electrodes attached all over their body to
well, an MRI, they tell you to be really still, so how's that going to work?
You can get special ones that allow you to move at the same time.
Do they cost more?
Oh, God, yeah. They're expensive.
The jiggy MRIs cost more than the static ones.
Yeah, the chicka bow model does cost more. Besides that...
Do the NHS have any of those, Rich?
They do have them, yeah.
The boom chicka wow wow ones?
Not for that reason.
Oh, right, okay.
So you think.
Maybe. You don't know what they are used for after hours.
This is where Richard goes,
now you do.
I'm a general practitioner, I can't comment on the sex budget of the NHS.
I can't because there isn't one.
There isn't one. Yeah. Glad to hear that as well. Superb. Yeah, I don't want this. I really don't want this. I mean,
I don't want it either. But since
I have no worry of STIs whatsoever.
Wants to see what happens. If they'll send me one, I will test it out.
Yeah, but I've got no worry of STIs whatsoever. What I have a worry of is a confirmation of my sexual inadequacy.
See, I think that's the biggest concern about something like this. Is that now you have empirical data showing how good or bad you are as a sexual partner.
Fitbit for your cock.
My God, if people start putting this on Twitter,
is there a ring for it?
Is there a what for it?
Do you have a ring? Is there a ring that you have to close over the day?
Is that like the Ring doorbell where it videos what's gone on? And then
no, like the Apple Watch rings, actually.
Oh, the rings?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've closed out all my icon rings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see looking at my watch and saying, "Oh, honey, we have to go again because I still have one more ring to complete."
Yes.
No, it's on the watch right here. We have to.
Exactly. And you get a reminder every couple of hours.
Every week.
You always reach your goals too soon, darling.
Just say you're an overachiever.
Batwings wants to know if I just said that I closed all my rings. Okay. I've got to say, right, this is a serious comment. After those two stories, Patrice,
yeah,
mate, you're going to have performance anxiety here. Come on.
I do. I mean, it's always hard to follow up after Jeff's stories.
You sloppy seconds after Jeff. Go on, mate.
So my story is actually about an outage in the US in Amazon's data center on the East Coast that happened a couple of days ago. I don't know whether you noticed, but a big chunk of the internet services went down. Because I think what happened was that one of the engineers at Amazon at the data center took down or wanted to take down a certain number of servers for some, I think, routine maintenance, and mistyped one of the parameters and basically took down the entire data center.
Patrice, mate, I love you like there's no tomorrow. I think you're a wonderful, wonderful bloke, and this is a really good story, but Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it was the best story I could find, to be honest.
You should have gone first.
I put my story in first, so it's not my fault.
So, no, I was just worried because Richard's coming and he's not had a great day, and I didn't want to antagonise him by not doing his story first.
Yeah, it was a good story.
But I think this raises a really interesting problem, because one of the things that I said in the Slack room was, if you go back 2 years, 3 years, something like that, if your email went down, it was kind of like, oh, cool, I'll have another coffee.
Yeah.
Now, your services of any description go. I mean, Twitter used to go down, and they used to show the picture of the whale and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And you used to be like, oh, I'm okay with that. It's fine. All right. What am I going to do now? Twiddle your thumbs. But now it's like, this disappears for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And the freaking world's coming to an end. And we've I think it's a worrying trend for human nature that this S3 outage has generated such a massive, what's the word I'm looking for? Backlash.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it also shows that most services don't really have a plan how to deal with disasters like that. They rely on the AWS data center in whatever region they are hosted to be up and running all the time. And if that region goes down, well, then they're screwed. And I think that's also a worrying trend. I mean, how can you rely on any service if they don't really take care of making sure that they keep everything up and running?
So this is going to reflect poorly on that engineer's next quarterly evaluation, isn't it?
Very likely, yeah. He wasn't fired, but...
Is there a connotation to the quantity of cost effect that this has had?
I haven't seen anything, but I would guess that it probably goes into the billions.
Oh, man.
I mean, just have to look at how many services were down.
Yeah, you got
to say that putting a naked selfie on yourself or up on the net when you're at college is pretty low in comparison to this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true.
On your future presence. I mean, have they named the guy, is it?
No, they didn't. I mean, they know who did it. I mean, for the most part, he followed protocol. There was a typo, and that was it. So.
See, that to me is the stupidity of the entire story, is that something as dumb as a small typo is enough to bring the whole thing down like that. That's a flaw in the system completely.
That is correct. I mean, that shouldn't have happened to begin with. I mean, you shouldn't even be able to take down the entire thing.
So for my sins, I did a postgraduate degree. I did a degree in ergonomics, and one of the things you talk about there is systemic failures, and you talk about the reliance on system. And one of the problems that you have is when you rely on a system absolutely, the system, when it fails then, or when the circumstances change and they no longer fit the system, the person will continue with the system rather than thinking for themselves. And in this kind of circumstance, we've got to a stage, and this is true of things like health and safety and protocols for financial performance and all that kind of stuff, is that you follow the protocol. And everyone says, right, if you follow the protocol, then there won't be an issue. And if you're talking about like an airline checklist, yeah, there's great value in following that protocol. But if you're talking about someone who actually comes across something and goes, no, that's not right, I'm not doing that, there is an increasing... I don't know the word I'm looking for, bullying, if you like, within corporate society, which says you will follow the protocol regardless. And the person is forced almost to stumble down into a path of failure.
Yeah, or I mean, if something then happens that's off the predefined path, people simply don't know what to do anymore because they're used to it. There is no script for it, and then, well, they're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much? Just curious. Like, I'm just wondering because I hear that Amazon Web Services are absolutely massive in terms of what they post in terms of the internet and things. Is there any percentage on how many services use AWS compared to an alternative?
Great question.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know, but I mean, most even Google and Apple and so on, even big companies use them for certain things. I mean, iTunes is running on, I think, Microsoft Azure and AWS. So Apple did the right thing here. They have two services that they rely on, and I think they also have their own data centers for certain things. So to make sure that they're safe here, but. I mean, Netflix, basically everybody is using Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the big story from this, is the fact that it became clearly apparent who did not factor in redundancy, because they were the ones that were shouting the loudest.
Yeah, I mean, Slack, for example, had, I think the chat itself was still working because they have distributed that, but some core services. I mean, even Amazon was relying on their own East Coast data center, so their status page was down, for example. So even they didn't think that could happen. That, I think, was the funniest thing, that Amazon, the company that should know better and has all the possibilities, didn't think that would be an option or would happen.
Yeah.
Did it affect any banks?
I don't think so. No, banks are traditionally, they have their own very secure data centers and separate networks and so on.
Right.
I mean, how much of your online life actually does have a single point of failure? In the sense that, you know, forget about being corporate, forget about losing billions on the internet in a couple of hours or in a couple of minutes. In terms of just being a private individual, thinking about your email, server access, file access, iCloud access, music that you want to listen to, communications with friends and relatives, how much of your life has a single point of failure? And there's an awful lot. Yeah. You rely on Facebook considering your redundancy. You rely on Twitter considering your redundancy, you know, and so on. So it's a massive issue.
Yeah.
But
it is, and it's getting bigger and bigger every year.
Yeah, but no one will learn from this. That's my key point, is the fact that no one learns from the fact that there is a lack of redundancy in their online life. They just complain that the service that they bought into, the one service that they bought into, let them down, without realising that is the nature of the beast. Yeah.
Or sometimes I've also seen that with clients, that false sense of redundancy. They think, I'm safe because I have, these two servers. But what they don't realize is that these two servers are still in the same data center. So if the data center goes down for whatever reason, you're screwed as well. So it's a false sense of security, really.
I suspect the vast majority of the public, if you ask them, where their data is held and stuff, they would probably think that Facebook and Amazon and all have their own individual services that they run, rather than it being hosted in the way that it is actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Facebook is hosting their own
think
stuff.
Of it that way.
Yeah.
If you asked where's your data, they wouldn't really have an idea how to answer you.
Yeah.
It's always good fun to ask somebody who's not technically minded what the cloud is.
Yeah.
Yeah, just watch their brain fry.
Yeah, but even people that are reasonably technically savvy aren't. The difference between the web and the net is entirely lost upon them. And I'm not suggesting that I've got an absolute understanding of what it is. And if you talk about stuff that's in the cloud, they just mean it's no longer in their hands.
Yeah,
it really is like it's flown away on a magic carpet. No, it is.
True.
It is.
It's like
I drag it over into Finder or Windows Explorer, where it's got my iCloud Drive or my Google Drive shortcut, and all of a sudden, it's not on my computer anymore. It's disappeared. It's magic.
Yeah.
That's what they'd like us to think, isn't it? They love using terms like that. It just works magically.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and to be honest, in an ideal world, that's how it should be. I mean, people that have no clue how those things work and will probably never understand it shouldn't even think about that. It should just work.
They should wear an icon and not be allowed to breed. Says Patrice.
Yeah. Okay, that's a separate. I think that's a separate issue. But those people exist.
Sorry about that.
No, go for it. Go on, Jeff.
Now, if we were basing our IQ on a reading that we got from a condom, it would say every man is incredibly stupid. I'm certain of it.
You wouldn't get the data anyway because Icon was using Amazon Web Services.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No, I've got so many things running through my head, but none of them wouldn't require editing. I don't know if I've used too many negatives there either. I've taken us back to Middle English.
Yeah, it's very interesting. As I said, ideally, this is how everything should work. I mean, it should just work and just happen, and you don't have to think about it. But reality is, I mean, it's created by humans. It's run on hardware that can fail. So there's always not failure. I mean, as I think the Mythbuster said, failure is always an option.
See, this is. There's a serious point to this, although it's going to come across as me being frivolous again. But there is a certain bias in everyone's life, and this would be interesting, Rich, because I know you've been off social media for 3 months, haven't you, as a trial, just to see what it was like. And there is a certain point. I get up in the morning and I grab my phone and I go through for my morning motion, and if there's no messages to read, I wipe. And I'm not talking about wiping my device. Well, I kind of am, but you know what I mean. But there is a certain there's a certain boredom that comes with the fact that you tend to put your eggs in one basket. Now, I'm on Twitter and Slack predominantly for my social media conversations. I don't do Facebook very often or anything like that. And Twitter, because of the whole Trump issue, which I'm not going to discuss, I tend to stay away from now. I really, predominantly my Twitter stream is like Darwin Awards type stuff.
Yep.
And once I've gone through that in the morning, then it's through into Slack. And I say, morning, everyone, before I go and check my Darwin Awards. And then when I come back, if no one's replied, that's it, I'll wipe. And my social eggs are in one basket. I've got lots of email addresses, but most of them are Gmail. And if Gmail goes down, all of those disappear. You do tend to be a creature of habit and put stuff in one location. And I don't know, do any of us actually diversify? And Rich, how did you know how to talk to anyone when you didn't have social media?
I don't.
You just sat there with a cup of coffee in your house, going, waiting for the washing machine to finish.
It's back to the good old days.
Yeah.
No, I mean the people. One of the things I discovered about this was that the people that I was pretty sure I wanted to keep talking to, I had already over time gained their personal information anyway, like their phone numbers or their email addresses, because I was talking to them so regularly, or I needed to share something, or call them because we were going to talk or something like that. So I already had those people's personal details anyway, and generally speaking, I have fun interactions with people on Twitter, but there were people that I talked to regularly. This is just me, but there were people that they talked to regularly anyway. So there wasn't a massive miss when that's gone. To be quite honest.
All right. Okay.
It's about quality of friendships rather than quantity. That's the way I think of it.
And based on the fact I got a text from you, I'm really flattered now. Just one text in 3 months, and I'm like, I'm his best mate.
Mate, we've got our virtual coffees going, haven't we?
I'll tell you what, that is my cool thing actually. Richard and I have instituted a system where every Thursday at 11 o'clock, provided we're both in, of course, we have a virtual coffee morning. So we dial in on Skype.
That is so nice.
And we make ourselves a cup of coffee at 5 to 11, and then we sit down, and for 30 minutes, however long, we shoot the shit. And it mostly is shit.
Well, we have a nice time, don't we? We have a good laugh.
It is, yeah, exactly. So it's virtual coffee mornings. We ought to have a virtual. I'll fire up the Slack wall, and we'll have a virtual coffee morning some mornings. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Be like Macmillan type thing, but without the negative bit of it. So,
Yeah.
all get together for all the people that are lonesome because they've come off social media.
Yeah.
Join a new form of social media.
The virtual coffee mornings.
Coffeegram.
Coffeegram, yeah.
So, I mean, how much of your personal life is in one location? How much of it would disappear if there was an outage on a single server system like Gmail? From Gmail, Gmail is massive for me because, my personal account's on there. The one that I use for the shit that you get, which is just all for purchases online. I've got one email address that I never buy anything unless it's on that account, so I don't have to worry about all the spam and that kind of crap.
Yeah.
I've got one for bookings in the studio. I've got one for my business. I've got 5 for British Tech Network. I've got 3 or 4 that are left over from Bagel Tech. I've probably got 20 Gmail accounts. And if Gmail went down, there's a significant part of my life just disappears.
Yeah.
I would have trouble, but one of the plus sides of my experiment with going over to Android for a couple of years was that I've now got duplicates of a lot of my stuff in 2 places. So I've got it on both Apple and Google. So I mean, the now that I'm not using Android, I would say probably the Apple stuff has been kept more up to date, but it's still there, and there's some degree of syncing going on. I'm not 100% how good it is, but yeah, I would definitely have problems. I live. One thing I did not do when I came back to using Apple was leave Google services behind because they're so bloody good. So. Still very much in their ecosystem.
I love Google, but I just can't get away from them wanting me to be in a browser all the time. I hate that. I want an application.
Yeah.
Sorry, Patrice.
I don't think it's about. I mean, this if something goes away being a problem. I think that will always be the case. I mean, if you have 10 email providers and one of them goes away, and this is the one that you used for your business, I mean, you will have a problem. But I think if you rely on one thing, then in general for everything, then this is worse than if you have 10. I don't know what it is, whether it's just because I'm in IT and I run a lot of systems and I know how fragile they can be, but I usually put my things in at least 2 baskets. So I have my own email server, and then I have Gmail, iCloud, and I think a couple of other services that I can jump to if needed, things like that. So, or my backups are on multiple servers. And multiple services even. So,
but if you actually are honest and you look at what goes on in your personal life with email, we've had a lot of people come to us, and Paul Shadwell, the first thing he turned up, and Andy Vaughan, when they got involved with BTN, was the first thing, well, shouldn't we have a redundant server so that if BTN goes down, we've got shows can still go out. And that's great, but actually we go down so little, and so few people, in relative terms, probably would, we're not talking about millions of people every week. It's in the tens of thousands who listen to the shows. Redundancy is not that big an issue. And actually, in your real life, I can't remember the last time I got a Gmail outage.
Yeah,
but that's because Gmail has this redundancy and is not relying on one data center and hopefully, I mean, that's what I'm guessing. That's why it's not down. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's different for different services, to be honest. Certain things you don't care. I mean, if Twitter goes down, who cares?
Oh, well, a lot of people on Twitter would be hysterical.
And the worst thing is they wouldn't be able to tell anyone.
Yes, exactly.
They would have Twitter rage and nowhere to go with it.
Yeah, exactly. And then if Twitter comes back up, there would be 1 million messages about it. I think it at the end of the day, it always depends. As I said, for your business email address, you would care if it goes down. For something that some website that you check, some used website that you check every month or so, if it's down for half an hour, or even a day, you wouldn't care. There are 1 million other places you can go. So it's really a case by case basis. I can tell you, I mean, if my calendar, for example, went down, that would be a big issue for me, because that's the thing that's running my life during the week for the most part. So I have to have that on multiple devices and redundantly. So even if the service goes down, I still have at least all the appointments, even if I can't book any new ones, but I still know, okay, where should I be at what time and who should I talk to and stuff like that.
Yeah, you see, that's. I think if you're intensely focused on meetings or timings, so I think Richard probably's got an awful lot in common with me in the fact that if I work for a day. I don't work for 10 minutes and then another 10 minutes and then another hour and then another hour. I'm not reliant on. I've got to be here at 1 o'clock and here at somewhere else at 2 o'clock and here at 3 o'clock in meeting rooms and that kind of stuff. If I turn up somewhere, I'm there for the day. So the diary onus and reliability changes entirely. And Richard is, if you work, Richard, you work for the day at the same location. So it's the same as me. Yeah. Good one. My story. Marissa Meyer has decided to give her annual bonus to employees because of the hacks.
Yeah. Why did she even get a bonus?
Well, so I might be breaking with over feminism here that has gone on around Marissa Meyer perhaps in the last few years. But my first question is, why has the girl got a bonus in the first place? Because I'm sorry, this has happened on her watch.
Yeah.
And she's given it to the wrong frigging people as well. Because the employees' details aren't the ones that they've got to worry about. It's all the customers. And I've got to say, we heralded, and I'm going back to the days of James Hart, because This Week in Marissa Meyer was a feature that we did on the big show. And there was a
I remember that.
There was a jingle for it. And, we did our very best to come out with all the positives of Marissa Meyer, and actually there hasn't been any, because all of the stuff that we ended up reporting on was the negatives, like her stopping people from homeworking and pissing people off regularly on a constant basis almost. And I'm sorry, the feminists are going to write to me and they're going to give me shit over it, but this girl has not done her job. She has not performed. She has not done anything with this organisation. All of the real breaches have happened on her watch. I'm sorry, there is nothing to shout about with Marissa Meyer anymore.
Yeah.
And
exactly. I mean, I can, to a certain degree, understand the reasoning behind giving it to the employees. I mean, Dave, after this breach, Dave probably had a hard time, figuring out what happened and taking the pounding of all the customers and so on. So, it is a nice thing for your people to give them a little bonus. But she, as I said, aside from her being a woman in tech, she shouldn't have gotten it because, she didn't perform really. And Yahoo went down. So, I don't get it. Well, good for her, but...
During her 5-year tenure at Yahoo, Marissa has accumulated $162 million as the company's CEO in salary and stock awards. And if she leaves, following the acquisition of Verizon, she is due a $55 million severance.
Nice.
You could pay me that much, and I would gladly take it to come in and ruin your company.
Yeah.
I have no problem with
that. Do that.
See, I spend a lot of time in companies and I film CEOs, and there's guys and girls that I interview who are at senior director level up to chief executive, and the way that they talk to me and the way that I see them working with the people that they're in, I can tell who's the best and who are the ones that are people that it's like, holy crap, where's this going? And I filmed a guy a few weeks back, and I liked him from the moment he walked in. The way that he talked to me, the fact he remembered my name after he'd asked me my name and I'd introduced myself, and just simple stuff like that where it's not people person, because I think that's a shit phrase, but it's attention to detail, and that person had that, and caring and bothering, and I thought to myself, this person will help this corporation flourish. And then when they spoke on camera, they said things that resonated with me, like, do you know what? That's really frigging sensible. and it's not some bullshit kind of soundbite that they've been told to say or that they thought up while they were in the bath one night. And there was nothing going on social media. They've they actually genuinely get the idea of being good in the position that they're at. And those companies tend to flourish. They tend to do quite well under those kind of people. And I don't think that, if you look at general population, they look at people like this and they see the amounts of money that you're talking about for someone who is riding the bomb from Dr. Strangelove down to planet Earth. And okay, I'll grant you, there's a little bit of hospital ball in what Marissa got, but she ain't done nothing to help it. She's not flapping her arms to try and get the bomb not to land, from what I've seen. And that might be very grossly unfair, I totally admit that. But in terms of if she really is, she would want to do more to show that she is. And the market, the IT market, was very receptive to supporting her when she took the job on. And any wins they would have publicised, but there wasn't any. That's what bothers me.
Yeah. All you heard about Yahoo after the initial period of, people being excited about her was negative. So
it's unfortunate.
I want to be contradicted. I want the chat room to go, no, you're talking out your arse, human. It would be really great if I really was, and Jerry Yang really threw this girl something that was just completely, a lead Quidditch ball. But I don't get it. I don't see it. There is no evidence that shows me that there's anything other than this.
Yeah.
It sounds like she's probably quite happy just to ride her time out and take her money when it collapses.
Well, I got a few emails from a few people when she was on the maternity leave, and I was saying, you got to bear in mind that she's probably detached from the company because she's on maternity leave, and they were like, "How dare you? She's woman slighted for being on maternity leave." I'm like, it stands to reason. If she's at home looking after her newborn offspring, she's probably doing her best to keep in touch, but that has to be inhibited somewhat.
Well, she should really,
All right, and I thought there'd be a better discussion in that, but never mind.
we're all falling out of love with her. That's the end of it.
Yeah, I'm sad that we don't have This Week in Marissa Meyer anymore.
Yeah. I've got to see if I can find that jingle while you're doing the cool things. It's got to be up there somewhere.
I think you're right. I think people were hopeful that she was going to be an amazing female icon in tech, and she hasn't really proven to be that in her current role, has she? So
yeah,
I think there's going to be a film. At some point, there'll be a film about how she was let down badly, maybe. I would hope that there is, and it's not all her, but I don't see anything that tells me that that's otherwise, though.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's not all her. It's usually, there's more to the story than just her. I expect that she had some skills and some credentials, and when she came in, Yahoo was in a bad place already.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'll go back to the earlier statement that I made. I didn't say it was her fault. I said it was on her watch.
Yeah, that definitely. At the end,
when you're a CEO, it's on your watch. It doesn't matter whether you chose to do that or not. It's on your watch.
Yeah. You are, at the end, you are responsible for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Apparently, back when she's video feed's gone shonky. I don't know what shonky means.
I don't know, but maybe she should try that condom. See if that helps.
Has she picked up a BTN STI? Streamable transmitted infection. God, we are title rich tonight, boys.
Oh, yes.
This podcast and all the others is not sponsored by the Mac Show because I haven't changed the graphic. It's sponsored by UK2. They're the people that keep us afloat. Please, please, please make sure that you support them. There's the real graphic. I can edit later. They are stunning. They have extended the server lease to us for 9 years. The server costs us £400 a month if UKT don't support us. All the domains are extended for that period of time as well as, and they are with us for the foreseeable future. They will be beyond my tenure as at the pilot of BTN. They'll pass on to some other person who takes over, I'm sure, in another 10 years. But we love UK2. And if you value the fact that we give relatively advert-free podcasting to you guys for nothing, then please support them, because that's the kind of stuff that keeps us afloat. We're not looking at people giving us money in our pockets. We're not looking at day rates for doing the job. We're just looking for people to make sure that this is zero cost to us. And UK2 makes sure it's zero cost. And Hoya as well, they gave us one of the Mac Minis that went in the Skype fund for the Skype wall. Please support them as well. If you want the Advantech lenses, then that's no problem. You can still get those now, and they're absolutely brilliant. Make sure, though, that you send an email to Mark at podcast@hoya.co.uk, because he will make sure you get the absolute red card treatment out of the people that you go and see, and he'll provide you with a whole load of details, because you guys are going to be the salespeople for Hoya and say the good word. And it's well worth it. It really is, because the quality of the lenses is a cut above anything I've ever had before. And come 1st of April, you get Uniku. So you go and get your face measured. Then a 3D printer, in inverted commas, because it's not like a 3D printer, but it is, makes the frames for your face. Height of your ears, width of your nose, position of your eyes, angle of your prescription, all of that stuff is factored into this thing. It makes a unique bespoke pair of glasses. And then the frames are fitted to them, and these glasses will work for no one else but you. It's almost, they're imprinted to your identity. So that comes 1st of April, and I cannot wait. I thought we were getting it 1st of Jan, and I was so excited that I kind of let it out of the bag before I was supposed to, and then it was like, no, we've got to get the machine CE marked. It's not been CE marked, and it's got to get it. Oh, what? But 1st of April, it's coming. Uniku from Hoya. Oh, you got to be excited, boys. Come on.
It sounded interesting, definitely.
Oh, mate, you got to
love the idea of it.
Well, it's just like the Advantech thing. So you can go and get measured, and if you don't like the price and you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. So it's the same thing. You go down, you see them, they'll do the scan and all that kind of stuff. And if you like it, have it. But they will be your glasses only. They will be perfect for your vision. That's what you need. I can't wait. I really can't wait. Right. It's time for the cool thing. Mr. Hartness, start us off. Dr. Hartness, I do apologise.
It's all right. Oh God! Well, as somebody who's not using an awful lot of technology these days, it's not easy to recommend something. But I did rack my brains and think of one thing. So this was something that I bought not for me, but for my father-in-law. I put a link in the chat room there. Unfortunately, he suffers from Parkinson's disease, and but he does have an iPhone, and he finds using the iPhone quite difficult because when he holds his finger out, it tends to tremor, and it's difficult to press the buttons. He's found it that using some form of stylus or something like that seems to work better for him. So I reached out. I cannot think of the guy's last name now. Lovely guy, Paul, friend of the BTN. The chap with the ginger beard does all the art.
Paul Kirkle.
Kirkle, yeah.
Yeah.
I reached out to Paul Kirkle because I knew that he did a lot of stuff with digital things and children with disabilities and stuff like that. So I thought he might be a good person to ask about this. So I asked him about some styluses that might be suitable for my father-in-law to help. That would be good to use in his situation. Because he didn't want to draw with it or anything like that. He literally just wanted something to tap on links and tap on apps and things like that. So that stylus that I put in the chat room there, what's it called? The IbioSense or something like that. That does exactly that. And it's powered. You can see the little button on the side there, and you press that to turn on the power. It's got a very fine, I think it's a 2mm nib, and it's not a rubberized tip either, so it's not going to wear or fray over time, as a lot of the rubberized ones tend to do. And for him, I quite liked it because it was quite. It resembles a pen, basically. You know, it's a very familiar shape and form factor. And he always wears smart shirts, so he's never quite given up being a doctor. So the little clip on there is good for sort of putting on his shirts and things, so he doesn't lose it. So and we've tried it out together in practice, and like I say, it's powered, but it doesn't use Bluetooth. So that was something I wanted to avoid for him because I knew that would be too much hassle and too much complication if you had to keep pairing it all the time. So yeah, just nice, simple, straightforward. So if anyone needs one of these or has a family member in a similar predicament, it's quite a good buy, and it's about £25.
My mum's got Parkinson's, and one of the things I've noticed with her is if her hand is occupied, it all stops.
Yeah, it's much better. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and there was a lady at her church who was in the advanced stages of Parkinson and was constantly moving. You know, everything was constantly moving. But as soon as you said a name, bang, stop still. Mm-hmm. And then once she'd asked the question, she was off again, and she moved. And my mum's like that, so I guess holding something like a pen probably helps with the tremors as well as.
Yeah, it does. He finds he has more control when he does that rather than just using his finger.
Is there any research into why that occurs? Why the brain suddenly snaps into function and then dissipates again? I don't know.
Well, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a lovely video about an inventor. I think she was based in the UK, who created a wearable for Parkinson's, and she trialed it out on a graphic designer. So a girl who drew and things for her living, and then developed Parkinson's. And this thing that it was like a very chunky wearable watch kind of thing, and what that did was, I think every time that the hand tremored, it sent us a small electrical impulse telling a hand to do the opposite reaction, if you like.
Right.
And the fact that it was doing that and doing it so quickly actually stopped a hand from tremoring quite significantly, to the point where she could virtually draw a straight line. So that was quite an incredible thing. Actually, I'll find that video and put it in the chat room because
please do, because that's interesting. It's always struck me. I'm a big pattern spotter, and I've noticed that with my mum. You know, the more she gets to use something, the less the Parkinson seems to be evident.
The sad thing is, unfortunately, that I was a little bit disappointed with is the girl who that's not the girl, sorry, the lady who created this thing. She called it the Emma after the name of the girl who she tested it on, and she isn't pursuing it as a product, which I think is a real shame. I hope to God somebody picks up her research and makes it into a commercial product, because I'm sure there's an awful lot of people with Parkinson's who could benefit from it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Put it in, no question. I shall. I mean, my mum's only got it in her left hand, so there's a good chance something like that would make a bit of a difference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. Jeffrey, what's your cool thing? The bar's set high right there.
Yeah, well, I'll do the best I can and go with Lego. Yeah. So the new Lego Ideas announcements are out, and the next Lego Ideas kit is going to be Women of NASA. And I was really hoping this is one that would get picked, and sure enough, it is. So it'll be out late 2017, early 2018, and it has several prominent women from NASA, along with like a mini space shuttle and a mini computer, and it's a pretty cool looking kit. So I'm looking forward to this one coming out. So we don't know how much it's going to cost yet. That we won't know that till much closer to when it actually does get released. But it's a cool looking little kit, and I love that Lego has been able to put together some of these kits from the Ideas projects that promote the roles, the very important roles that women have played in science and technology.
Is this a tie into the movie, Jeff?
No, it's not. This is a kit that was designed by a Lego fan. And so Lego has this entire program called Lego Ideas, and you can create a kit concept and then put it on the Ideas site, and then people, other Lego fans come and vote for the kits that they think are the most interesting. And once you get enough votes, then Lego can put that into the pool of designs that they'll consider for the next Lego Ideas product launch. And so you may have like 10 things that are all being considered, and one or two of them will get made into a kit.
That's the way the Ghostbusters one came about, wasn't it? It was a Lego
That's yes, that was.
I think it was an Ideas one.
Yeah, the original Ghostbusters Ecto 1 came from an Ideas kit. Lego Wall-E was Lego Ideas. Mm-hmm. That was a really fun kit. I really enjoyed Lego Wall-E.
I mean, it's great that they've got Sally Ride on there in the middle, because she's probably the most recognisable name out of all of those. And this is where I find it really hard, because it's like the Krista McAuliffe and the kind of Judy Resnick characters who were on Challenger would it'd be fitting that they were remembered in this way, but equally, it's then not a kid's toy, is it? So
yeah. So and I do love that Margaret Hamilton's there too.
Yeah, definitely.
Jeff, have they ever done a Columbo one?
They have not done Columbo, but they did Big Bang Theory. So I wonder if there's a Columbo kit in the Ideas program. Let's see. Go Ideas.
I want a Rising Damp one. No, I'm serious. I want a Rigsby Lego.
I think it's a bit too politically incorrect for Lego, isn't it?
74 days left, only 275 supporters.
There is.
So this one is not likely to make it to the screening round. But there you go.
Jake's just checked it, and there's a with a Peugeot 403.
Oh, boo! That's no good if it's not going to get supported.
Batwitch has taken the chat room off on a complete tangent, saying that a lot of men are having Botox in their testicles. It's called Scrotox.
Nope. Not gonna do that. I'll test out the smart condom, and you can shoot me in a space capsule around the moon, but I'm not doing Scrotox.
Yeah.
Apparently, it smooths them out and reduces sweating.
Oh, God.
What?
Man.
The only time my
wrinkly
testicles have
by
ever sweated
nature.
is just before my vasectomy. I think the best. This is totally inappropriate. I may edit this out yet, but I think the best thing about testicles is the fact that they move so violently, and you have nothing to do with it. Just not you.
Yeah, you're just along for the ride.
Yeah, exactly. No. I've gone too far, haven't I?
Too much detail.
No, it's an amazing part of our anatomy.
No, the number of girlfriends I've sat with and gone, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. So I wonder if a side effect would just you would have paralyzed scrotum. Because Botox stops things from moving as well.
Yeah.
Paralyzed
Right.
Oh, that's got to be the name of a college band, doesn't it?
paralyzed scrotum.
Yeah,
Scrotum?
it's one up there with Loaded Diaper from Greg Heffley and all that kind of stuff.
Scrotox. That's my Dead Kennedys cover band.
Yeah, I remember when we were at college, there was me and the rest of Paralysed Scrotum were out in the tour van.
That's giving me an idea for a Twitter account if I come back.
Yeah, their big breakout song from their second album, "Break My Balls." Yeah, I love that one.
I don't sweat no more.
I don't sweat no more. I Don't Sweat No More by Paralysed Scrotum. That's top 40, isn't it? Right there, that's top 40. Who gives a shit about the production values?
Yep.
Great pick, dude. How the hell did we get from Women of NASA onto Paralysed? No, we didn't. It's all right, yeah.
We didn't.
Yeah, I want to point out I didn't take us down that path.
I'm going to get a shirt made. I'm going to get a tour shirt made up for the bash that looks like a real band called Paralysed Scrotum. Definitely.
You have to share that.
And you're going to find someone somewhere that's afraid to say they haven't heard of the band because they don't want to lose it. And they will go along with you when you talk about their albums and their show tour. And,
Awesome.
and how it's so unfortunate that their crowds are so much smaller when it was cold.
You're going to walk into a music shop and play a random riff and go, don't you remember that? It was Paralysed Scrotum. Like, oh,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You haven't heard Smooth as a Baby's Bottom?
It's the best song ever.
Their comeback album, High and Tight.
Yeah, but the best album, of course, was Moved by Myself. Oh my God. I'll tell you what, if you only listen to the Mac Show on this network, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You're certainly missing out.
Yeah.
There's people that have crashed their car by this point. And Richard didn't want to come tonight.
Oh, I'm so glad I did.
Is that another one of their titles?
You know what? We should create a MySpace page for the band.
Oh,
God. Paralysed Scrotum, watch this space. And yet again, Patrice, follow that.
Yes. I don't know what it is this time, but every time I get to pick or talk about something, we come off from a story like this. So my pick is, I think I've picked that before, but that has been quite a long time. My pick is Buffer. I mean, we all have some social media accounts that we post to. I mean, you and definitely for the shows, for example, and I for my shows. And I use Buffer to schedule all those posts. I actually use Buffer to schedule almost all posts on social media. They have a free tier. So I think you get one account each. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever else they support. I think Pinterest and Google+. If you only have one account each, then you can use it for free. Otherwise, there's the awesome plan for, I think, $10 or something that allows you to basically use it unlimited. And it's really cool because you can pick a schedule and just put whatever you want to post in there, and it will post at that exact time. I mean, you can even say post this exact tweet at this exact time. So, for example, for you and for the Mac Show and the Big Show, you could actually schedule all the tweets
It would probably have more
way
clue
before.
than I would about who's coming on.
Well, you could do it before, for example, before you go for the curry. Just schedule it at that point. You know who's coming, and then it will go out automatically. Things
cool.
like that.
Yeah.
So it's actually pretty cool. I've been using it for years. It's a great company, Buffer. They are very open and they do great things, have great blog posts and so on. And the service is rock solid. I mean, it's one of those services I couldn't even live without.
Yeah, $10 for up to 10 accounts is not too bad.
Yeah, that's actually a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bad user in terms of account numbers, and even I wouldn't get near that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, good.
And you can, you can actually share accounts. So you can say, I don't know, I have a For example, for my other podcast, Deconstruct, I've shared it with Jerry and with Ben, so they can also put things in the buffer queue, and it will post automatically from those accounts.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I know. Good pick. I like that. I think there is a lot of stuff that we could put out there, certainly for. Because I think one of the things that you do with social media is it's like a bit of a passing train, isn't it? You know, if you stood in the platform, you see the train going through, but if you're not in the platform, you don't see it. So you know, if you're advertising shows and saying I posted this up, you probably want to do 3 in a day because one of those is probably going to be in the Twitter stream. And I know certainly from my experience, once I get past about 150 to 180 follows, the stream tends to go through way too quickly.
Yeah.
To catch anything. So yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, they have really great analytics as well. So you can even see who saw the tweets and how many people retweeted it and all of that data across multiple networks. So even you can paste to, as I said, Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, if anybody cares, things like that. So it's actually pretty great. Good service.
Good. Like that a lot. My cool thing. Now, have you guys got any drives kicking about? So I've got.
Sure.
Here you go. I've got an old SATA drive. Sat there.
I think I have a couple here.
I've got a couple I've got more than a couple. I've got ones that I prized heavily when they were about 20 megabytes, sat in boxes. I never throw anything away, just in case it's got a picture on it I may need for the future. And while I was having a route through, I found some really cool stuff that was left over from when Alice was a baby and stuff like that. I hadn't seen in ages. But at the end of kind of rationalise it all into one drive so that it would save the storage, I was left over with 2 3 terabyte devices, 3 terabyte SATA drives. So I thought, well, okay, that's 6 terabytes of storage, and I've got a pile of movies and home videos and that kind of stuff, and I could have them then on a network-attached storage device. So my cool thing is the DS216J NAS drive from Synology. And you think, whoa, yeah, NAS drive. But, I mean, I've got the discs already, so I didn't need to worry about buying discs to go with this. I just needed something that would allow me to access these discs. And this is £139 at the moment on Amazon.
Wow.
With Prime. It's a little computer. So that's the thing you got to remember is this runs by itself. So I set this thing up and I stuck the 2 drives in and it makes up a RAID array that's mirrored. And you're kind of like, okay, well, I don't want that because actually the stuff I've got, I know I've got on other drives that I've just rationalised, so I don't need to worry about redundancy and that kind of stuff. I'm going to make it RAID 0. And the Synology stuff, I understand RAID, and I've done RAID stuff before in the past using Drobo and that kind of stuff and using disk utility on Mac. So I'm not completely idiotic. But even I, with my very limited ability to do anything technical, managed to get this to go to RAID 0. And I've got a 6 terabyte drive now, which can just sit and burr away in the loft. And it's got my movies on it. It's got all the Star Treks on there that I've kept over the years. It's got Blackadder, which I bought on disc and I've ripped onto there. So all my stuff's there available. And last night, Sharon wanted to watch them on TV, and it was Dross television. There was no way I was going to watch it. So I managed to buy. Where have they gone? They're in my pocket. I managed to buy some AirPods yesterday in Regent Street. So I took those out the caps, put them in my ears, and I used the DS media server application on my iPhone to dial into the NAS drive up here in the office, and I sat and watched a couple of Star Treks on my phone while I was sat watching the TV with something that was intolerable in front of me. Not my wife, the TV program. So there you go. Superb. I absolutely adore it. And you can buy Plex for it as well. So if you stick Plex server on there, Plex, the operation is free. You just need to buy the relevant app, if you like, for Apple TV or for your iPhone with the upgrade. And you're instantly into using Plex via the web. And of course, you know, I've got 2 massive pipes in terms of bandwidth here. So I've got 200 megabits a second here, and I've got 200 megabits a second down at the house. So anything I want to stream, it's flawless. It's great.
Yeah, I've had Synology NASs in the past. I mean, not anymore because I outgrew them, but they are awesome. The software is rock solid and works flawlessly, and their apps are also pretty good.
No, the app station is really brilliant. All the stuff that you can add onto that, and there's more people writing stuff daily as well, which is great.
Yes.
So. Good one. Where can we get a hold of you? I know what I meant to say while we were talking about it. The Fantasy Photo League has been running, and I don't know if any of you've seen it, but there's a link to a document that's got all the pictures that we've shot in February that everyone's done. We've nearly doubled the size of the people that are taking part in the competition in February, which is great. We did lines in January. We did self last month. March's topic is construct. So construct, however you want to say it, CONSTRUCT. Take a picture that you think deals with that title, send it to us at britishtechnetwork@gmail.com, and you can be included in the Fantasy League. And the thing that's nice is everyone gets 3 votes to vote for other images. And because we've nearly doubled the size of the number of entrants that are in the competition, it means that there's loads more votes out there. So just because you're joining in March doesn't mean that you've lost out because of January and February have taken place already. Now, construct, the only thing I've put a limitation on this. You can't use Lego, you can't use Meccano, and you can't use any child's construction equipment to take the picture that you want, because otherwise I'd just have 38 pictures of bloody Lego. And that's going to be too hard to judge someone that stands out. So there you go. Construct. If you want to join in the Fantasy Photo League, go ahead and send us an email. You come into the Slack room would be easier because a lot of the comms are done in the Slack room. But so far it's been really, really good. Lots of people have got loads of benefit out of it. And some of the people that have said, I didn't know what to shoot, so I've just sent this in. Lo and behold, they've got piles of votes. So it's good. It's really good, really enjoyable. I've been enjoying marking it as well, as a photographer, trying to look at the positives and negatives of what's going on. Where are you, Dr. H?
The only place I'm still around online is me website, I suppose, human-v2.com, and also humanv2 on YouTube as well.
Are you saying that you're permanently now not going to go back onto social media, or?
I don't know. Still thinking about it.
You got to come in the Slack room because that's not social; it's just attritional.
Sure.
Yeah, I have not erased Slack or my Slack account, so
Good man.
That might be something I dip into. I don't know. I'll see.
Yeah, stick Twitter because it's just.
I don't miss it.
No, I don't when I'm not near it. But I miss my Slack room, I have to say. Jeffrey, where are you, sir?
I'm in my new place, but I'm also at macobserver.com and freshbrewtales.com. And for those people that do like Twitter, I'm there. I'm Jay Gamet. Also, Jay Gamet on Instagram. And I'm on gobs of different podcasts. I just kind of like doing that, turns out.
Yeah, no. Adam's been rivaling you for podcast prevalence, if you like, in the last few weeks, hasn't he? He's been going anywhere
he's been making the rounds, and good for him because Adam's really awesome, and it's great that more people are getting to see him.
Excellent. And last but by no means least, Patrice. Where are you, mate?
Yeah, you can find me every week here on the BDN on the Mac Show, and everything I do on thepatrice.com.
Excellent, mate. Superb. My name's Ewan Rankin. You can get me at Ewan Rankin on Twitter. We'll be back on Friday of next week with the same frivolity. 2 p.m. for the Photos Show, and then 4 p.m. for Mac Show, and 8 p.m. for Big Show, with a curry in between, because it's good for you. Well-ish. See you next week. Thanks for listening.